Imagine in a business situation when you're looking at a company and you're sitting around people that are called consultants and you hear somebody say, "You're stupid and dumb, I can't believe you did that." And what I realize is, and I don't care whether we're dealing with kids or whether we're dealing with executives, they start getting self-doubt. I'm not good enough, I'll never be good enough. And what happens is you create an environment where nobody wants to tell you what's really going on because they're worried they're going to be told they're stupid and dumb. And I'll tell you, dealing with kids, I never saw the difference when I saw it with CEOs. And I met people that you'd read about, and they didn't even want to tell you that something was going on in their life. I've met with people that were billionaires that could never write a check big enough to solve their problems. They needed love and they needed a relationship. And that's the one thing I realized, that's what life is about. And when I started to realize that when people don't know who they are, and the business doesn't understand who they are, it was no different when I was meeting a person, or whether I was meeting a child, or meeting a business, or a community, or a nonprofit, or a country. They all were what I call an entity that was looking for love. And the perception of who they were was based on the world. How do we change the perception of something that's living, breathing, and it's an organism, not a mechanism? There's a woman, a friend of mine, who was a TV anchor woman, and she was doing a story on India. And she couldn't understand all these kids that were running around in the streets. She said, "I can't believe nobody's helping these kids." And they said, "Because of the caste system. That's where we believe God wants them." So she created an orphanage. And when she opened the orphanage, she was sitting with her executive director, and she saw kids playing with a rock, playing soccer. And they were happy. And she said, "They're happy, but they don't even have a soccer ball." And he said, "Because they don't know they don't have a soccer ball." He said, "Because needs are finite, wants are infinite." When I shared that with a friend of mine at Harvard, he said, "You know, I absolutely believe that, Peter." He said, "Money is finite. Our time is finite. Money is infinite." So all of a sudden, I'm sitting there going, everything I'm looking at, is it needed or is it wanted? And if it's needed, is it needed today? Because if it's needed today, money should become infinite. So you imagine sitting with a nonprofit. Why did you create this? You sound like other things. What makes you unique, right? It comes back, is it needed? I was asked to meet, there's a community in Eastern Canada that's a dying community. It had one business that practically keeps the community alive, and it was they made mining equipment. And I asked the CEO of the company, and he said, "I know we're going to be out of business someday, but we can't lay these people off because there's no place for them to go." And I said, "Who's your dream?" He said, "My dream customer is Caterpillar." And I said, "That's funny." I said, I helped a friend of mine who used to be head up Caterpillar Asia, and the former CEO is a friend. I'm going to phone him and I'm going to ask him to look at your community. He had two executives fly in to meet this community, and it took 7 hours for them to fly in a private jet, and then still had to drive because there was no way. But when they got there, this is what they saw. Kids. Every one of their parents worked for this company. And I told them, I said, "You want to have a relationship that's going to change the community? Look at this one. These guys are world class at what they do. So at least I'm not asking you to do something that you're not going to do. I don't want them to do anything that's not going to be good for you." But they not only said that not only they do is the best, they gave them $2 million deal, which changed this community. And I realized there's life, there's a living, breathing thing. We call it business that affects people. And the fact that the CEO phoned me and said, "Peter, when our executives got back, they cried because of this. They couldn't believe the kids were there waiting for them."